In the second season of the Bravo series, The McBee Dynasty, Real American Cowboys, it seems like Stephen McBee Jr. has the solution to every problem but his own. When it comes to his problems in his relationship with fellow Joe Millionaire alum, Calla Jackson, Stephen Jr. is remarkably out of his depth. As the eldest brother, Stephen Jr. has taken the lead when it comes to saving the family farm. The problems that Stephen McBee Sr. is facing with the FBI are dangling over his son's head as he navigates a messy relationship with company CMO Galina Salkowska. When it comes to leading his brothers on the farm and cleaning up after his father, Stephen Jr. seems comfortable taking charge and finding solutions. But with Calla, Stephen Jr. is letting the relationship drag on. Stephen Jr. is allowing his relationship with Calla to drag on in the McBee dynasty. In many ways, Stephen Jr. has demonstrated remarkable emotional maturity this season, except, of course, when it comes to his relationship with Calla. Stephen Jr. seems to be dragging out the relationship, possibly in the hopes that his ex-girlfriend will finally end it herself. It's typical for people to go through these kinds of mental gymnastics when ending messy situations, but in Stephen's case, it might be a costly ploy. It seems from conversations this season that Calla wants to end the relationship, but still expects financial assistance when it comes to purchasing and maintaining a home in Dallas. For many people, once a breakup occurs, their objective is to get away from their ex, but for Stephen and Calla, they seem determined to stay in each other's lives, while outwardly maintaining their single status. The preview for the upcoming episodes makes it clear that the family trip to the Ozarks does nothing to bring Calla any closer to the McBee family, many of whom she has insulted and bickered with during her on-again/off-again relationship with Stephen Jr., when family matriarch Christy McBee stepped in to determine if Calla would be coming on the family trip. She commented in a confessional interview that the only time the couple get along is when they are breaking up. Mother McBee also stated that the whole family had been affected by the tumultuous relationship, exhausting everyone. The trouble is, neither Stephen Jr. nor Calla seem inclined to see her integrate better with the family. In a clan as tightly knit as the McBees, having a romantic partner on the outs with the family is a thorn in everyone's side. Stephen McBee Jr. is focused on saving the family farm. With the weight of his father's fraud case lingering in the background, Stephen is attempting to take over the family business and lead his brothers to success. When his younger brother, Cole McBee, who thinks he knows best when it comes to running the farm, drives an expensive piece of farm equipment into another machine, Stephen showed restraint and patience with his younger brother, which clearly isn't natural in their typical explosive dynamic. Similarly, when Galina appears to be drunk on the job, Stephen confronts her, refusing to allow her to drive anywhere. He then requests patience from his younger brothers, acknowledging that Galina has been struggling due to their father's erratic choices. Stephen even reunites with another of his father's ex-girlfriends, Brooke, on camera, giving her the opportunity to explain her side of the love triangle that played out in Season 1. When it comes to solving the problems that arise in his loved ones' lives, Stephen Jr. seems to have all the answers. His focus on saving the family farm is admirable, and the way he consults with his mother about the best way to move forward with the business is a welcome change from Season 1. It's clear the American cowboy gets his mature demeanor from his mama, but when it comes to romance, Stephen Jr. unfortunately appears to take after his chaotic father. The Missouri sun beat down on the sprawling McBee ranch, baking the earth and shimmering off the corrugated tin roofs of the barns. Stephen McBee Jr. stood on the porch of the main house, a phone pressed to his ear, his gaze sweeping over the fields. The call was from their lawyer, another update on his father's FBI entanglement, a tangled web of accusations and legal maneuvers that threatened to unravel the very fabric of their legacy. Stephen Jr. listened, his jaw tight, offering concise, intelligent responses, already mentally mapping out contingency plans for the farm's finances, for the upcoming harvest, for the morale of the crew. He was a general on a battlefield, commanding his troops, his brothers, the ranch hands, with a clarity and resolve that belied his years. He'd inherited his father's drive, perhaps, but tempered it with a pragmatism Stephen Sr. often lacked. When Cole, his younger brother, with all the confidence of a bull in a china shop, managed to ram a brand-new combine into a stationary tractor, Stephen Jr. didn't explode. He took a deep breath, surveyed the damage, and calmly, methodically, began to delegate the repairs, find replacement parts, and even, surprisingly, offer Cole a lesson in operating heavy machinery. "We learn from our mistakes, Cole," he'd said, his voice even, "but we don't make the same ones twice." Later that week, he found Galina, their company CMO, weaving slightly by the feed silo, her words slurring as she tried to explain a marketing strategy. The stress of Stephen Sr.'s legal woes, coupled with his erratic behavior and their messy on-again/off-again romance, was clearly taking its toll on her. Stephen Jr. didn't yell. He gently but firmly took her keys, arranged for a ride home, and later, in a quiet moment with his brothers, explained, "She's struggling. Dad's choices affect everyone. We need to be patient." He even made time to meet with Brooke, another of his father's former flames, listening patiently as she recounted her side of the Season 1 drama, offering a sympathetic ear without judgment. He was the family's anchor, the steady hand guiding the ship through turbulent waters. Yet, for all his remarkable emotional maturity and strategic prowess in the face of external crises, Stephen Jr. found himself utterly adrift in the choppy waters of his own heart. Kala, the name itself was a sigh, a headache, a persistent hum of unresolved tension. Their relationship was a perpetual state of on-again/off-again, a cycle of passionate reunions followed by bitter arguments, often played out against the backdrop of family gatherings. He knew, deep down, it was dragging on. He felt it in the way his mother, Christy, would eye them with a weary resignation, in the subtle shifts in conversation when Kala entered a room, in the way his brothers would mysteriously find urgent tasks elsewhere. He suspected Kala wanted out, but not entirely. There was the house in Dallas, the expectation of financial assistance for its purchase and upkeep, a lingering tether that seemed to bind them even as they outwardly claimed single status. It was a bizarre arrangement, a breakup that refused to fully break. Stephen Jr. found himself caught in a strange limbo, perhaps hoping she would be the one to sever the cord completely, to make the definitive move he couldn't bring himself to initiate. It was a cowardly tactic, he admitted to himself in the quiet of his truck. But the thought of the inevitable confrontation, the tears, the accusations, the sheer emotional exhaustion of it all, paralyzed him. The family trip to the Ozarks was meant to be a reprieve, a chance to reconnect away from the pressures of the farm and the looming FBI investigation. Instead, it became another stage for the Stephen Kala saga. From the moment they arrived at the lakeside cabin, the air crackled with unspoken grievances. Kala, true to form, found fault with everything: the cabin, the food, the activities, and most painfully, the family themselves. She bickered with Cole over a board game, made a cutting remark about Christie's cooking, and openly scoffed at Stephen Sr.'s attempts at lighthearted conversation. Christie, ever the matriarch, watched it all with a familiar ache in her heart. In a rare private moment, she confided in Stephen Jr., her voice laced with a gentle weariness. "You two only seem to get along when you're breaking up, honey. It's exhausting for everyone." Her words echoed in his mind. She was right. The entire family was affected, caught in the emotional crossfire of a relationship neither party seemed willing to truly end or truly fix. In a clan as tightly knit as the McBees, a romantic partner on the outs with the family was not just a minor inconvenience, it was a festering wound. One evening, as the sun dipped below the tree line, painting the lake in hues of orange and purple. Stephen Jr. sat alone on the dock, skipping stones across the water. He thought of his father, the chaos that perpetually swirled around him, especially in his romantic life. Stephen Sr. was a force of nature, but also a whirlwind of emotional wreckage. Was he, Stephen Jr., destined for the same fate? He could solve the farm's financial woes, navigate legal minefields, mediate brotherly squabbles, and even offer solace to his father's ex-girlfriends. He could lead, he could strategize, he could fix. But when it came to the one problem that gnawed at his own peace, the one relationship that drained him and his family, he was inexplicably, frustratingly impotent. A splash in the water broke his reverie. He looked up to see Christy standing at the end of the dock, a soft smile on her face. She didn't say anything about Kala, or the trip, or the farm. She just sat beside him, her presence a quiet comfort. "It's a beautiful evening," she murmured, gazing at the reflections on the water.